Hello everyone, it's Dutchman Foremost and welcome to this brand new The Sims 4 speed build. So today I'm back with a new speed build in The Sims 4 Discover University, and thanks a lot EA Game Changers for providing me the opportunity to fly to San Francisco to record this video, because there I got the opportunity to get my hands on the brand new expansion pack for The Sims 4, which is coming out this week. And yeah, you're seeing my first few speed builds in this new pack this week also. So yesterday I uploaded a new video which was about the university student housing, but today I'm here with the university commons, or basically the study place, because of course studying is not only fun, it's not only parties, it's also studying and actually having very many exams and presentations and all that kind of stuff. And I'm personally in the middle of it. I'm an architecture student, in case you didn't know that yet and you're new to my channel. So for me this all feels super relatable. And yeah, for my first video I did like the typical university housing, especially related to like typical Dutch student housing, but today I'm going more for the public building. So this is University Commons, which means that this is a place where Sims go to study, obviously because it's a study spot, but also where they can have some food at the canteen, meet with some friends, maybe take a rest and relax a bit between studying. So yeah, that's basically what this place is. It was really a lot of fun to create something super modern, because in case you haven't seen the other video yet and you don't know about the new build mode feature coming with the patch for this new expansion pack yet, it's now possible to extend columns. So it means that a column is not only one floor height, but it can actually have a height of like 2 floors, 3 floors, or anything in between, because you can really adjust it yourself, as you saw me do in the beginning of this video, which when I saw this, I totally freaked out. I was like sitting between all these other simmers and I was like, holy shit, did you see this? And no one had seen it yet, because we literally started playing the game like a very short moment. And obviously as a builder I immediately jumped into build mode, where most people just started in CAS or like live mode or whatever, but I immediately jumped into build mode to see what the new items were, and I saw a column and I was able to extend it, and I was like, holy shit, this is cool. So yeah, it's really awesome what you can do with it. As you can see, I really tried to experiment with it a little bit for this build. It's really a build which relies on this new functionality, and you'll see that the concept of the building is basically that you've got a core in the middle, you've got a roof which is structured by the columns, and then attached to the core in the middle there are some very brightly colored study places, which makes the building look sort of cool from the outside, but it is actually also really functional for the inside, because those are places which I imagined to be able to which you can close off as a student, where you can either work in a group or work and study on your own. Very like realistic to what it's like in real life, even though I must say that very private cubicles like these are very like it's really cool if you've got those. Generally, universities don't really have such private places, especially not to study on your own, but definitely, or at least at my university, we've got those to study in a group or work on a group project and not to be disturbed by others. So that's the idea of those cubicles, which I added to the sides. And personally, I think it really looks like a public building. A house like this wouldn't be possible, because I tend to build very many houses, it felt very good to actually build a public building once again, because that's just really a totally different style, and you should definitely not try to have Sims live in here or make the student housing complex I created to make that or turn that into a public building, because it just feels weird. But this sort of has that iconic public building shape and look, I guess. So when I saw this world in the trailer already, before I even got to play like with Discover University, I got really excited about this neighborhood in the new world of Brightchester, simply because it's so modern. And this is also for the University of Foxbury, which, in case you didn't know, is the world or the university which really focuses on like technical stuff and sciences, and sort of like the university I'm personally studying at here in the Netherlands. So therefore it felt very relatable, and also because it's so modern, it's just sort of cool. But we've also got the more traditional one, which is the University of Rochester, which I believe we can also call U-Bride, but yeah, I've seen people say U-Bride, so I guess they both use it. But that one is a lot more traditional. Think of like Oxford. The university is like that, and also sort of inspired. Yeah, I felt like it was inspired by the UK universities, but it could also be inspired by like more American traditional universities. But that one's got more old style or architecture, which I'm definitely going to check out once I've got my hands on the game at my own PC. So once I've got it, that's the world that I'll do my first build in, because I've got some really cool ideas of sort of creating a penthouse student housing complex, which is sort of a renovated old building. So sort of a penthouse which has that warehouse feeling or that old school feeling, but then renovating it into some really cool industrial place, but then slightly worn down because so many students are living there, and really turning it into a cozy place with, the typical student items which come with this pack. In my previous video, I already discussed quite a lot what kind of items are coming with this pack, and for many of the items, it's either sort of fitting Foxbury or it's fitting U-Bride, meaning that for Foxbury you've got like the more modern Bride items, sort of IKEA-like, and for the Foxbury University you've got the more traditional looking items, but literally there's like multiple beds, multiple chairs for each of these tiles, which is really cool because therefore I feel like it would fit very many builders, and very many builders will be excited about this one. I've heard that very many builders are super excited about it, and I must say I'm excited myself as well. However, if I'm looking critically at the amount of items, it's not super many items coming with the pack. And for me personally, I'm sort of missing like the more designer kind of chairs, which I personally like, or just designer kind of items. Saying chairs is just too basic or too specific. What I mean is just some more, designer, stylish looking items. I must say though that if they would have added them, it would be super weird because that totally doesn't fit the vibe and the style of university. So looking at like the realism of the game, they totally did a great job, because literally like I think 90% of student houses has 50% of IKEA in his or her dorm here in the Netherlands at least, and I've heard very many people around the world say that as well. So therefore it's really cool to have some IKEA styled items, also because it really fits like children's rooms in your houses. However, very many of the colors are super basic, so it almost feels like it's a base game item, which I think is a little bit of a pity. However, I might be a little bit too critical on that. And it's just the first impression I got. However, there's some really cool like industrial looking items like the pallets, which is a coffee table kind of thing, and also a shelf with books, which has like some wooden, simple, worn down planks with some stones under it for support, which is really cool and literally what very many students have got. So I would have liked to see more of those kinds of items, but they did add them, and there's definitely a reason why they didn't add more of it, I guess. Something cool, which is also about the worlds of, or the world of this new expansion pack, is actually that you can swim in the water. Like Sims Community, Joven was sitting next to me at the event while capturing, and all of a sudden he was like, "Oh my god, what is he doing or she doing?" And she actually walked right into the water, because it's possible for your Sims to swim in both the waters which are in the world, which is really cool because obviously with the Sims 4 Island Living, we got the possibility to have your Sims swim in the ocean. But actually, they've used that like development or that technology as well for this new pack to make sure that Sims were able to swim in the waters around it. And I actually noticed that when I wanted to record the overview for this, because there were so many Sims in swimwear around, and when I found out that that was the reason, I was like, okay, that explains a lot. But the cool thing about Sims Camp is that you're actually talking with the developer. So I talked about this feature, and then she asked like, is it too much, too many Sims spawning in swimwear, and what do you think of it, what do you like it? And it's really cool to have like that one-on-one conversation with them, and hearing their thought process and hearing how they're constantly trying to improve the game. Also, we got an explanation there why the base game houses or base game buildings tend to be sort of boring or plain. And actually, the answer why that is super logical, and that's because if you put super many items in or on a lot, it just slows down and is not important or doesn't improve the performance of the game, and therefore you need like a super high spec computer in order to run the game, which obviously no one wants. So therefore they have to really cut down on the number of items in the basic houses and therefore or basic buildings, and therefore they can't be like super crazy like for instance this one is. If you would add these kinds of like very detailed builds into all the worlds and try to run the game, it would probably like really either burn your computer or really be super slow, and some people wouldn't be able to run it at all. So I had actually never thought of the reason why the base game buildings would be so like sort of plain. I'm not trying to say they're bad, but be honest, they're not really good. But it's not because the developers can't build. I'm sure they can build, but it's just it needs to be plain. And I can also imagine there's a factor of having, that you don't want to put the bar too high, because then people feel like their own builds are really not good, and there's some feeling of satisfaction for simmers also to renovate houses and then feel like I've actually made this place better. And if the place starts being really good already, there's not really that much to improve. As you can see, by the way, if you copy columns, you actually continue to have the same height of the copied column. So that's cool. You don't have to drag it up all the time again. You can just copy the column like you at the height you want it, and then you can copy it and you get exactly those columns with that height. So I'm really happy with that. I sort of like this plaza which I created because the core like downstairs is sort of small, so you really create some kind of square, and with the covered roof it means that you've got a really cool place to study for your sims. And in the interior on the lower floor there's the canteen, so that's a place where sims can just have some food. I also mentioned in the other video that I found it sort of weird how the food system goes for students in the US, but if you want to learn more about that, you can check out that video. I'm not actually going to talk about that again because I can imagine it sort of gets boring if I continue talking about that all the time. This is sort of the canteen. I sort of like to just try those three colors and sort of refer back to the color of the painting on the outside. And then I added like this cafeteria unit, a ping pong table of course, and then some corners where you can just have a sit down in some nice chairs, relax. And also in this build I used some more slightly fancy chairs because universities tend to have quite some money and they tend to spend them on design. Actually, it's mainly the students that don't have that much money and don't spend it on design. And then on the upper floor, we've actually got the studying area with a huge skylight, meaning that there's a lot of natural light for the sims to study there, which I believe is one of the trades. You can also use or set trades for lots that I think that came with an update, and I believe it was with, I'm not too sure if it was with Island Living or even before that already, but at least you can set lot trades, and you can, for instance, set the lot trade like fast internet, but I believe you can also set the lot trade natural light or good natural light, which is pretty cool because this building sort of has that feature. By the way, if you want to download this building, you can. You've got to look for Gallery ID Dutch Sims Master, and then you can from there download the build and put it in your own game. It's a base game plus Discover University only, so therefore it should be available for all of you, and it should look exactly the same as it did for me when I built it myself. So yeah, that's cool. By the way, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the trip itself. So we went to San Francisco, where the EA headquarters is. It's in Redwood Shores, so basically in Silicon Valley. By the way, if you want to see more of my trip, you can look at my Instagram at DutchSimsMaster, and if you could follow me there, that would be really cool. But the trip started up pretty nicely because, my plane at Schiphol Airport here in Amsterdam, every gate got like some advertisement by a bank saying, okay, good luck in X place, or you're going to there, or honeymoon in Bali, or whatever. So those specific things on the gates and specific destinations, and I always thought that would never match up with the actual destination you're going to, because planes park at different gates all the time. But this time my plane was actually parked at the right gate, because that gate said, what did it say again? Good luck in Silicon Valley, or at least there was a reference to Silicon Valley on the gate, which was like super cool, because I was literally going there, or it literally said Silicon Valley, here I come, which was exactly the feeling I had at that moment. So that was cool. And then I had some free time there as well, so I went to see the Golden Gate Bridge. I actually biked over it, which is like the most typical Dutch thing you can do, but it was actually a lot of fun. Also specifically because bikes are coming to The Sims 4 with Discover University, so therefore it sort of felt double nice, and felt very appropriate to actually bike there. And I actually went downtown as well to see the Salesforce Tower, like the highest tower in San Francisco, and I believe the Western Hemisphere in general. It's like a super tall building. I think it really looks cool, and from a distance it really stands out. And the cool thing is that they were actually constructing it the last time I was in San Francisco, which was 2017, and now I had never expected to be coming back that soon, and now I was coming back and it was actually finished up. And besides that, there's some really cool transport terminal as well, and on the top, on the roof of that transport terminal, they've actually created some kind of park, which is really cool, because as so many people were just sitting down there with their laptops, doing some work on their own or like together, and felt sort of like a university campus style, but then like in the middle of the city, and not for just university students, but for everyone. And it felt, because you're a little bit higher in like the city, it feels very approachable and very safe as well. So that was cool, and generally I just really enjoyed being back in San Francisco again. And we got a tour of the EO studios, of the Sim studio in specific, which was really cool, because I've been playing The Sims for a really long time and spent like so many hours in it, obviously because I've created like so many videos and just played it myself a lot as well. It was crazy to finally see the studios myself and see where it is created. Nope, we didn't see any timeline. We didn't see if The Sims 5 is coming. Like, that's as much as a question for us as it is for you. However, it was fun to see the Sim Gurus there in a natural habitat as well. And then we went to Sims Camp, which is basically like a bunch of computers, really good food, and the game you want to play on your computer. And you can capture as much as you want, which was really cool. And therefore, I'm really happy that I managed to get 2 speed builds done. I really had to work quite hard, because normally speed builds take quite some time to make, especially when I don't know what items are new, and especially because I had so many new items to look at, so it just takes quite a bit longer to actually, get it done. But I'm very happy with the end result, and I hope you like it too. So please let me know if you do in the comments, because I would love to see your feedback, and a like on the video would be super appreciated. And just like in the last video, I would like to ask you if you've got any suggestions for like new videos which I should make in The Sims 4 Discover University, because of course we've got like very new opportunities for a Let's Build, so I'm planning on doing a Let's Build. And I also would like to do the Around the World building series, but then maybe for architecture or for faculty, or like library buildings, or generally just cool university buildings around the world. So if you've got suggestions for that, please let me know. Also, let me know if you like that idea. I'm still not too sure if it's possible, because I can imagine it's like those buildings, like public buildings, tend to be too large to actually recreate in The Sims. And also, because the buildings are so large, it might not be possible to upload many videos of it. So maybe like one a month, which is not really what I want. I would prefer like a higher frequency, and that's possible with like smaller buildings. But I could also do some series with dorm rooms, because obviously there's super many types of dorm rooms. I'm a student myself, so I see very many dorm rooms, and I know how different they are. Some people are super messy, some people are super neat, some people have their room filled with IKEA, some people create their own furniture, some only got furniture from like their old grandma. So it's really cool to see that difference. So maybe I could do something with that, or university housing around the world. But I can imagine it's sort of similar, and I've sort of done the Dutch version of it already. Even though I must say that it being in a penthouse is not very representative of the Dutch, and also in the Netherlands you've not got a very typical student house. It really depends on the city and also the type of students and the type of building. You've got student houses in super old, 200-year-old buildings along the canals, which is really cool. But you've also got like very super new, high-tech student housing with like 300 studios in one building, which is slightly more campus life like it is envisioned in this pack. But anyways, I should maybe talk a little bit about the interior. As you can see in the middle, we've got like the not so quiet working spaces, and on the sides attached to that, just like simple cubicles attached to a core, we've got these separate separate rooms, or just silent rooms, I guess. And as you can see on the other side, I mainly put some computers, and on this side I tried to put some like apparatus as well, and maybe some artworks, because I believe, I'm not too sure, but I guess students from the University of Rochester can actually get here as well to study. Might not be 100% true, because this sort of goes into live mode details already again. And as you know from me, I'm really into building. With regards to building, I know everything you need to know. But with regards to live mode, there's still quite some things for me to learn. But yeah, last minute here, I'm actually creating 2 toilets because I realized I hadn't added a toilet in the building. Classic me. But yeah, we've got toilet stalls now as well. So I believe I added those if they fit. I believe I did add them, or didn't I? No, I did. I first put like one toilet in this 9-square room, which sort of felt weird because it almost was like some kind of disabled person's toilet, which is not weird, but it is weird if it's the only toilet available in a place. So I ended up choosing a bigger cubicle and added those there. So for all of you who have already commented that I forgot the toilets, I haven't, because I'm building them right now. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. Thanks EA for bringing me out to San Francisco and create this content, because seriously, I had a blast. Thanks so much. Thank you all for watching my videos, because yeah, it's basically you who made this possible and got me to fly out there. And don't forget to check my Instagram if you want to see more of when I'm uploading and when I'm not uploading. And then I hope to see you back later.
Thank you.